I didn't get my ink card. Oh well.
I like the third person whose key is it? Cal's. It's useful.
Am
Cause
I?
like,
Understand
cause someone says like mine, and like, what does that mean?
right? I
Why?
also like almost said like my like slave name, if you will.
What?
That Joe was coming out of my mouth, and
Oh.
then I like switched to Cal. So I was like, wait. So that's why third person happened. It wasn't on purpose. It was like, wait, don't do that. But I also don't care. So
Your name?
Aww.
Your name is Joe Cal?
it is in fact
Cool.
Joe Cal's
because
kind of a
Joe
weird
seemed
name.
Joe seemed too long, so I thought maybe Cal would be a good because they're the same.
Mine is Hamid.
Hamid?
Hamid.
That's a tight ass name.
My parents, when they were in college, they were on the college basketball teams, and there was a guy that was just like a tier one national prospect in Mexico, and his name was Hamid. And they're just like, we want our son to be good at basketball, so we're naming him Hamid. I hate basketball.
That's fantastic. I put Cal like entirely randomly, but funny enough, I picked it as a random nickname as a child, and I had forgotten.
That's
Like,
funny. So it
my-
just felt right.
Yeah, my first tune in retail was my priest, and I just clicked random name until I saw one I liked.
And it was.
It was Calistandus, right? And the thought of it being Cal didn't occur to me until it was funny enough. Opeth was just like, "Oh, Cal," and I was like, "That's me." So that's
That's funny.
Cal.
Have I told you about the most ridiculous game name the random number generator spit out for me? Like, the actual
I'd
in-game
love to
name
hear.
generator.
What was it?
I was rolling up a gnome warrior all the way back in like classic, and I was trying to come up with a good name for it, and I was a little bit confused, and was just like hitting random name for a while, and then I still have a screenshot of this somewhere. The in-game, I swear to God, name generator's like, you know what you should name this gnome? Penis. P-E-I, sorry, Pennis. I was like,
That's
great,
amazing.
thanks. I'm sure you would. And like, obviously I didn't take it, but it was.
You can't get banned.
You probably
right?
can though, right? Like the random number generator picked it for me. It's probably not actually a defense.
The random name generator actually I think is pretty good. So when I do
Yeah.
retunes now, I hit random till I see one I like and put Cal on the front, or like one
Yep.
that will work with Cal.
That's what I do, but with Kaz. Except for my mage. That one came to me in a dream.
Amazing. 'Cause it seems like at least the current name generator, it combines your race and your class, and like has elements of both.
Huh, that's cool.
Because like my blood elf demon,
I didn't
hunter,
realize that it was different for different classes.
I think it is. Like
I mean, I'm sure you're right.
it
had never occurred to me that that might happen.
at least for I don't know for everything, but like for demon hunter, my suggested names were entirely different than my other blood elf character names. And my mage I named Kalithos because in Wrath I started naming my characters like end boss names but slightly different. So like my main was a prop paladin and I was Palthuzad. And so I had a mage called something Thos, like Kalithos. So Kalithos.
I had a whole shtick of naming characters after Douglas Adams characters for a long time.
Hmm. Nice.
That's where Wind came from.
Oh.
Just minor Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy characters, not even like the ones you would know. Not even the ones that I would have remembered. Sort of looking up like a list of all the minor characters.
Nice.
I realized belatedly that wasn't attempting to be like, you know, Hitchhiker's Guide hipster or whatever. Not a name any of you would recognize.
All of mine are just other people's names. Except for Jin. Jin is a character from League of Legends.
It is. I remember when Jin first came out. I was still playing League in those days. The League really brought out the worst in me, man.
I think that's what it does in everybody.
Oh, I've got a theory about why 5v5 PvP is the most inherently toxic game in the world.
What is
Tell me
it?
why.
So first of all, it's PvP, which means you're going to win only about half the time. Like, unless you're the worst team in the world or the best team in the world, like, matchmaking is going to mean you win about half your games, right? So instead of like, imagine if half of the keys you started got bricked and no reward. How mad you are.
Like 3/4 of the keys I start get bricked with no reward.
And you're a
Same.
happy person, you would say?
No.
Yes.
Let's say the average person doesn't have that experience doing like 16s or 10s or whatever. They probably don't break half, I would assume.
So
League never brought out rage in me.
for me, maybe I'm unusual in this, but I expect like approximately 100% success rate in like PvE content.
Oof.
And Tormu, which one are you on?
Back one, I guess.
Oh, I will do this one. My
And that's-
thoughts are on yours.
And so it's like different when you're talking about like raid progression, right? Like you're gonna wipe a bunch of times before you kill a thing, but it's like learning and interesting. But I mean like joining a pug, and attempting to do a dungeon, and just like the group falling apart and everybody being like, well, sucks, I guess, and disbanding.
Okay, one of them's pretty high.
Yeah, I'm stopping. Just auto attacking a little.
I'm still doing my evoke.
No dots. Okay.
Okay, now they're even.
I'm okay with leaving keys. It's like at a certain point, like at a certain level, everyone's there to time it really.
Sure, yeah, no,
And some people,
and I get those
Oh.
reasons to.
I'm not okay with that at all. I am so sick of doing the first fucking boss like 600 times, and then people get to the last boss and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that would one shot." Well, maybe if you had toughed it out past like the first 4 minutes of a key ever, you wouldn't have
I
just
think
bricked
there's a
mine.
middle ground where, yeah, you shouldn't always drop if, like, in order to get practice, but at the same time, if somebody like fucks up something like very basic on tier, like takes all the balls, there's not any point in continuing.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like,
fair. If someone clearly just doesn't know any of the mechanics, that's
Right.
fair.
Or if you're with a group,
I am
and all
pretty
of you-
fucking sick of carrying people who I have to explain every aspect of the dungeon to in like a 25.
Yeah.
Like I don't get how that happens. How did they get that far without learning anything?
They did a 22 and got carried and they plus 3'd it. I don't know.
So the reason I bring up success rate is that I think it's reasonable to expect that you succeed more often than you fail, or at least you learn something when you're doing like PvP. Like you win a lot, but in PvP, like inherently you have to, like you just can't win that much. So like already there's this baseline like feel bad of like losing half the time instead of mostly winning. And then you've got the 5v5 thing where like it's very easy to blame other people. So there's like lots of stuff to blame people for. 'Cause you lose half the time. And
You
then
can
there's
blame people on your own team and on the other team.
right? You can be like, oh man, my teammate was an asshole, or like that other player is like cheating or something. Like there's so many excuses you can come up with for why your team lost, and you lose half the time. So like there's lots of opportunities to feel bad, and lots of people to point fingers at, and the whole thing adds up to like.
Ooh, somebody share the quest, the 4 dungeons quest. Sorry, I just want loot. Okay, as you were. I didn't mean to interrupt.
That was the whole thing. I mean, it's not that complicated of a theory.
There's something I said in college when I played League of Legends and StarCraft, which is
I love
that
StarCraft.
for games like those, fun is a zero-sum game, and I'm
Yeah.
not having fun unless I know someone else on the other side is not
I
having
have no interest in those games. I am 100% I want to be on the same team as the people I'm interacting with. I have enough PvP in real life.
Yeah.
Uh,
And so that's just like the
Hey, you
PvP.
defense-seated him before I hit it. I was pulling back here.
It's my bad, dude. That not your fault at all. I hit Avenging Wrath too early.
Pally things. Hey, at least you're not a monk. Monks kill themselves a lot.
God, your fucking macro brings me so much joy, Jen. Fat
What does it
chicken
do?
power of sun and moon. Active, stars fall from sky. Need infusion from church, man.
Man. Yes, sir.
Is this like in party chat or something? And I'm
Yeah.
not noticing it.
It's it's a yell.
Oh, okay. I don't hear yells,
Uh,
or I don't see yells. One of those.
it was a thing where you would run with specifically Chinese-speaking groups where they would have instructions in Chinese characters and then would have like poor English translations right after. It became kind of a meme where you make it yourself just by like typing in something in English, put it in a translator, right? Get the Chinese characters and then translate it back. Is it like does it shittily? It won't like match the original, right? And just sort of making your own.
Going back to League.
Power from Churchman is hilarious. It's a hilarious way to ask for PI.
You're saying going back to League? Something?
Going back to League, I started playing League with like a group of 4 friends. Like I had a full team,
I did it again.
and I'm not the best gamer like out of the box. So we played.
Skeptical about this claim.
Pardon?
I am skeptical about your claim that you are not the best gamer out of the box.
I'm pretty
Just
bad,
play-
honestly.
play
But I have determination. That's what I do have. So
You got a lot of stacks of determination.
yeah, I was really, really, really bad, and probably like 80 games in. You know, everyone logged in. I saw everyone was logging in. And I was all excited. I was like, "Yes, some more League! I love this game. Like, it's so much fun." And like, I waited for the invite.
You can pull it to the
Invite-
big one if you want.
Invite never came, and I was like, "Oh, it's cool. Like, maybe they have a 5th." You know, kept on going, and I never got. I just never got the invite. I was like, "Oh, it is what it is, right?" Like, I messaged them. I was like, "Hey, like, can I play with you guys? Whatever, blah blah blah." Because I was like, maybe they're busy, right? Maybe they have like people or whatever. But it's like, I was pretty dog. I was really dog at the game. So, and they didn't enjoy playing with me, which is understandable, right? They were my friends, but that was completely understandable.
But they had a different success metric for the game than you did.
Yeah. So,
Did you ever watch the video? This is a long one, but did you watch Why It's Rude to Suck at Warcraft?
sounds very
That one
familiar.
got posted in here. I think Mesh may have posted it,
I know
or
I
possibly Senna. One of
I-
them posted it in this Discord
know
recently, like in the last month.
I know I sent it to you guys.
Oh yeah. And it took me like 2 months to watch it, and I just found it like mildly irritating.
Did you really?
Yeah,
All right.
not like very irritating, just mildly irritating.
In the sense that you
But-
thought it was inaccurate, or you thought it was.
I thought it was like trying to make a point that was a little off from my experience. Oh shit, I wasn't paying attention and I don't have good healing for this. Good luck! Hey, we lived! Druid is so much easier than Shaman.
Yeah,
My claws will find your
like 1,000%, I think. I don't particularly like being a meta chaser, but also sometimes there's like a reason.
They
why I
they
think be
do
meta.
like make it kind of necessary.
Yeah.
Oops.
Like at a certain point, it's like, how much more do you want to push the hardest content on hard mode when you should
Yeah.
be pushing the hardest content?
Wait,
and-
I could push one button instead of having to spend 12 seconds overhealing to ramp up my cloud burst for this like one phase. Huh.
Start
See,
pushing
that's-
you resto me ret and take the shit over.
See, this is exactly the sort of like instrumental play that I think that movie was, that documentary was about. Like, the idea that like the only way to have fun is to continue pushing the numbers ever higher and higher. It's not even that it's wrong, but it's not the only way to play, and a lot of people don't play that way. And you get into all sorts of nasty culture clashes when people.
The problem is when people. Well, the problem is when people walk into like a 25 where the goal is to time it without knowing. Their goal is that too, and they die once because they don't know the mechanics, and then they leave and they break your key. Like, I'm sorry, there's no interpretation that I will agree to where that is okay behavior.
That part's fair, because I don't think anybody's having fun when they're like failing and bailing repeatedly. Like that doesn't.
Exactly, and like the people who are designing the incentives for Mythic Plus and like how you get points did not take this into consideration when they changed the rules to encourage failing and bailing.
I think the people
like the game is a worse game since they did that.
I think the rules for high-end Mythic Plus are not built around pugging. I think they're built around having a group of people that you play with on the regular.
I think that's also true.
I mean, that's a nice
How many left
idea,
after
but
the soul rend or on pull?
probably on pull.
On pull, daddy.
I like that.
Okay, here we go.
Dazar will awaken soon, but you will not live to
Someone drums when we had Nog.
Oh, I didn't think about that. My bad.
It's okay.
It is what it is.
Oh shit, where's everyone going?
I don't know.
Whoa.
We gotta get that boss away, though.
I
Don't
thought
worry,
we always went Cubby first.
Oh, I'll get you in a second.
I'm very sad.
I was real confused by the intended stack point there.
Goodbye.
Yeah,
Miss Phoebe.
half of us
Next
were going
one's probably
mid, half
gonna-
of us were going
Real
cubby.
quick, next one's probably gonna be that corner or the Cubby.
Yep.
Depending on
Sounds
how far he
good.
pulls it.
Just don't go into the light yet. And by light, I mean green circle. Okay, actually we're going stairs. Oh, no. Corner, back corner, back corner.
your soul be shattered.
Spider melee. Spider melee. I don't know how that one
Doing
spawned.
keys with a team is very important.
Yeah.
Everyone
None
has
of
to
my
mesh
team
stuff.
is ever on at the same time that I am.
I need a different team then.
I'm on always.
Sure.
If only there were 5 people on right now.
But like, but Kaz, you're answering the wrong question here. Like I said, if you want to find a different team, like a team that works with your time, like you being online all the time doesn't actually like resolve that, because the point is to have a team. You're telling me a thing about you.
Yeah, so, okay, Cal wants to push around lunchtime on weekdays. Gentle, I have not figured out your schedule, but I know that you're at work usually at Cal's wanting to push time. Kylie is only available Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't know what to do for you. Defensive Kintormu, sorry.
I got it.
There we go.
I also like pushing in the evening. Fair, just not every evening.
Yeah. I'm sure that's true. I'm not saying that you're doing anything wrong.
No,
I'm just
no, for
saying, like, there have been a few moments where we managed to get you, Senna, Highly, Gentle, when I say you, I mean Cal in that context, in the room at the same time. And then Lena or Void shows up and they're like, let's do a key. And we're like, okay. And then it's torture. And we don't get to do our push time while everybody's in the room. And then Senna's like, oh, actually, I don't like Warrior, even though I have told him so many times that his Warrior causes us to succeed at keys. He just won't hear it. He's like, no, I'm going to go Paladin.
But again, so there's two things going on here. One is the, like, whether or not he likes it and whether or not you think it's good are different things.
Big trinket.
And the other one is that, like, imagine this like trying to assemble like a raid roster. Like if you don't have your 10 or 20 or whatever people online at the same time, then like you're just gonna have a bad time. Like nobody's out there trying to like pug mythic raids by just assembling 20 randos. Or
That's
even
actually
like,
not true. A lot of people do, but they only do the first 2 bosses usually.
okay, succeeding at mythic rating in the way that I know you want to succeed. Come on, give me a little bit of credit for not having to say every single word to get the idea through.
It's true. Okay, so Lynn, here's the thing. Cal and I put a lot of work into gathering people into this Discord, this slow burn Discord that we are in. And we have, in my mind, like, we have found the people who are like the people I want to hang out with, right? People who are willing to like try something and fail at it and try again and do better the second time, right? Like people who are trying to figure out how to do the key and not just telling each other like you're trash, no, you're trash, right? Like
Sure. So yeah,
none of that.
So play
Like,
play with those people.
it's been so hard to like, you know, dig through the haystack to find people like Gentle, right? Like all of you who are here. Like this is hard. And then and once we get those people, we've got Lintilla who doesn't want to push keys over 20. Kurzak who doesn't want to push keys over 20.
I'm not part of your A team. I don't claim to be part of your A team. I'm not saying I'm part of the group that you.
There are a few people in here who I wish were part of my A team, but who are like, I don't want to be stressed, and like I respect that. Sort of. Half of me respects that. And half of me is like, but you could get me more points.
Well, I would like to look at Kazlu's Mythic Plus score in one hand, and Randall's quality of life in the other hand, and
yeah,
these may seem
but,
to you, but like,
but what if we put them together so that my quality of life goes up too?
I also have to just make sure everyone has like the same goal. That's important too.
The biggest thing. Same expectations, same goals. It's just like the miscommunication causes hate, hell, and discontent, right? So
extremely true. Yeah.
I can't being told how to tank. I can't being told like you don't do that pull. It's like that's way too tough on me as a tank. Like I've never had that before. So I'm just kind of chilling on tanking for a bit.
I know exactly that feeling.
So like,
just like a new
like
thing to me.
I totally get that, Gentle. Like that makes sense to me, and I think every tank I've talked to feels the same way. And then the difficulty that I'm having on the opposite end of the spectrum as the healer is that I am like a parachute that is being dragged around behind everybody, and like pulls are being made that there is no way we can survive. And like every time I pug, this happens, and like I just keep getting pulled. Like I keep wiping the same way when I know that there is a way to not wipe there, and I just feel helpless.
Everybody out there.
I never get to see it.
I want to, but like a lot of people out there think that their way is like obviously the correct way to do it, and they don't take the time to communicate with each other about like what's actually going to happen. So like the tanks who are like blitzing you and making your life miserable, I guarantee at least half the time there are groups that are ragging on them for like not pulling big enough. And it's not that
it's hard, man. Like, and like the times that it happens, like they're just burned into my mind. It's like, okay, I don't have the third DPS's cooldown for 40 seconds, so he's out of the picture. Cal's is coming up in 12 seconds. Eileen's is coming up in 10 seconds. We got PI, we got everything. We have 2 major healing cooldowns. I want to go big here. I have one of my defensives. Like, I can possibly live this. Like, I'm going to go big here, and then being like, no, we can't do it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be considerate, right? I'm not gonna be like some tanks and be like, no, we're doing it anyways, right? Because I think that really sucks. Like, so having your words not taken.
Gentle, I think that the thing that you're mostly suffering from was that I was essentially being forced to heal multiple keys per day where Lena was tanking, and where she would pull enormous pulls while somebody was dead and had like a 2-minute run back, right? Like she would just, every time I said wait, she would go pull something else, right? Like it was almost like she was doing it on purpose to piss me off. And it was like 2 or 3 weeks of dealing with that right before you started joining and running with us. And at that point I was so burnt out on tanks repeatedly. Like she bricked my keys. She probably bricked my keys 15 to 20 times. And it was just
I'm only
like,
going to push back on the one part about her doing it on purpose. I'm almost certain that she's not like.
She would laugh. She would pull more and she would laugh when everybody died.
Because she was having fun in a.
Bricking my key way.
No, in a success is differently evaluated than then you evaluate it sort of way. And I'm not saying she's right, and I'm not saying you should play with her, and I'm not saying I want to play with her. But I'm saying if you don't get on the same page as to what you're hoping to accomplish in the key, then one of you, at least one of you, is going to be miserable every time you run a key together. And so maybe the answer is don't run keys with her, and maybe the answer is talk with her beforehand. But like, I don't know. Something has to change, or you're gonna
Oh, I
keep
did
getting the
talk
same
with her
results.
beforehand. I did talk with her beforehand. And then she went off and found some disc priest to tell me that I was not relying on my cooldowns enough and I was using my cooldowns too much. But like
The good
actually what
news
was
is
happening
she's out of the picture, so we don't have to worry about that anymore.
is she actually though? But like the bad news about it is that it put me into this state of like just being exhausted and really frustrated. Like
No, I buy that.
That's fair, but the good news again is that like she's out of the picture and you don't ever have to run with her again, so we can,
but there was
more
collateral, there was
No,
serious
I know,
collateral
but
damage, right?
I
Jin no
understand,
longer
but
wants
I'm
to
talking.
tank.
No, well, what I'm talking about now is though that's gone. We can try to push that aside and then be more concerned with gentle feelings about tanking and try to make sure that he's, getting what he needs out of it too, or like it's, correcting that.
The
I'm just
most
saying we can all
important
be
thing,
good now and try to
try to
put,
me
Leva
in
behind
a group is the tank healer dynamic.
for
Like,
sure.
I have to always have your back, but you also always have to have mine. You might have done it in like with another tank and like wiped out completely. And I
That's
know
the
that there's
problem.
certain things because I've ran with you enough that your class does have like set limitations on certain things. But I want to try at least once. I want to give it one try. Having
Yeah, no,
some builds that
I
I've
do need
never had to
to
try is like, damn, man.
I do need to like have some like way of separating like what have I done with you and what have I done 6 million times with other people.
Yep.
Because like if I'm getting to a point like where I've tried to do 26 different pulls on plus 26 fall, right? And so this is like attempt number 27 for me, but it's attempt number 1 for everybody else. Like that is going to cause frustration when I'm like, I have been practicing this so long, I don't know what I can do better, and yet I'm still failing.
Right. So how do we get that where we're not going to be able to get in the same amount of reps as you and are still going to need practice on higher ones and figure out like what our limitations are as well? Also, side note, are you healing or DPSing? Because I'll switch to a DPS
Oh shit.
if
No, I'm DPSing.
Boo me,
Would
boo
you
me.
be Do you think you can carry me on a No, because we've got an augvoker. This is not the time for me
For
to
sure.
experiment with not having any fucking
it's
clue what
also
I'm
not
doing.
very many kicks with 2 boomies and a shadow or 2 boomies and a priest.
Yeah.
At that point we have to just
It's not raging.
heal
We have
through
a
the
blood
bolts.
DK and we have an aug. He'll CC the whole dungeon for us.
That's true.
We have an aug, it's true, but do we have a good one?
We have a medium one.
I'm just saying, set expectations.
Well,
we have a
Wait,
better
medium is
Oh, hold
fantastic
on.
in my world.
So it was Kaz's key. So now we're doing a different key.
Oh shit. All right, I'll
We'll just do a
I'm
different
so
key.
sorry. Okay. Can I go back Shamanelli?
Of course. I thought that's what you wanted to do. That's why I switched
Looks
to
like we're
priest.
doing fall because everyone has their Hearthstone.
That checks out. Does it
everyone
need to
has
be
theirs.
bricked at all, or are we?
Do you need a dispel order? Or are we not getting that fancy today?
No. I will dispel. Hold on, you're gonna be Ellie, so I think it's probably always me first, and then who's last? Probably you, Kaz. Kantormu would be right after me. That checks out.
Dispelling what?
That'll be it.
Second boss.
The second boss, the double magic debuff.
Okay. I can do one of those per...
I'll be getting them, so I'm gonna get one, and then the other one is just gonna fall off after time. Because if we do both at the same time, it kills everyone. So
You said it's a magic debuff?
It is.
I don't think I can ever. I don't think I can ever remove
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You shouldn't worry about it. It's okay. So it's. I would say it's a healer mechanic. But
But it's a
if
healer
both
and
of
defensives mechanic.
well, you have as a DPS, you have to stand in the right place. And if you don't, then it's not a healer mechanic anymore, right? Then it's a DPS mechanic.
You also take way less damage if you're not moving as a DPS. So there's like, and using your defensive. So there's like a lot to do as a DPS, and there's a lot to do as a healer on that one mechanic.
Okay. I need to
Let
feed
me
the
see.
dog real quick while we're resummoning and picking a new dungeon.
Sure.
Has anyone looked over logs and seen how well people are using defensives in Smolderon?
Question. I haven't personally. Do you want to do that? What's today? Friday?
Oh, Figbert,
We
you've
could do
already
that
figured
before
it.
Wednesday.
Amazing.
I was just thinking out loud, you know, because I
I
know
did that-
like I spam the hell out of mine, but we're like mythic key pushers, right? We're kind of used
Yeah,
to
we know.
that, and some people probably aren't.
It should be easy analysis to figure out like how much damage was taken under the effects of cooldowns versus not. Right?
Yeah. I
Are you
haven't
talking
taken the
raid
time to do
cooldowns,
it.
or are you talking? I think Gentl's
Personals.
talking
I'm talking about
individuals.
personal.
Yeah, yeah, and I think maybe Lint is talking raid cooldowns.
No,
but
I'm
I could
talking,
be
I'm talking
wrong.
about personals. I'm like,
Oh, okay.
how often did you get hit by unavoidable damage? Like, how much of the unavoidable damage you took was under
It was mitigated.
was mitigated by your own cooldown?
Ah, don't zone in.
I will not zone in. I'm looking for. Okay,
kidding.
I'm trying to remember which. This is the one. All right, I'm about to share a week aura. Lint.
Mm-hmm.
Fall chronofaded. I
Oh,
believe
you can zone
that.
in. You can zone in.
Okay, cool. So this basically is just a red bar right in the middle of your screen that shows you when the debuff is going to fall off. The one that matters for. Okay, so while you have this debuff, you want to be in the light so that it disappears fast when it gets dispelled. And if you do not have this debuff, you want to be in the dark. And it's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's like the basic idea.
Is this not the boss we did earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Oh yeah, you're right. I don't know
Good.
why I'm talking to you then. Sorry.
That's fine.
As you were. Ignore everything I just said.
It's
This is the problem I have. Like I explain these things so many times, and like Kurzak will tell you, there was one time I was trying to explain something to a mage at the beginning of a key, and he was like, "Are you sure you want to do that? Like, aren't they going to hate you?" And then they were super appreciative about it, and it's just like, 90% of the time, if I try to explain a mechanic before a key, people like rage and trash talk me.
well, so
But 10%, it means that we actually time the key. So like I keep trying to do it.
Can I suggest a meta check-in that's like, do you want me to remind you?
That
about
is
how
what
the
I've
mechanic
started
works?
doing. I've started doing things like, hey, so like what strategies do we need to discuss? Or like, hey, so what's the most common way to die in this dungeon that we need to worry about, right? And like try to get other people to like show what they know, and then I have an excuse to be like, oh yeah, and this other thing. But like I've had to get pretty clever about it. But with the mage one, I was straight up just like, hey, you don't have this talent. Like I'm not putting the key in until you do this.
You guys can zone in.
Sweet.
Sorry.
Going in. Are you in Resto Spec still, Kaz? I'm having a weird
Yeah.
UI thing.
No, that's me. That's thank you for telling me that.
No, you're
This
good.
is the right
It's-
time.
I think I went inside and it doesn't look reset.
It's okay though. There'll still be a font. It's like half reset. It's a weird thing, but it works fine. It won't be an issue.
Okay.
So
Sweet.
you've actually got me backwards on the boss mechanic now. We drop off the debuff in the light or in the dark?
In the light.
In the
When
light.
it gets
Okay.
dispelled, you want to be in the light.
Okay, cool.
But the important bit, like Cal mentioned, is to not be moving when you're getting dispelled, because you'll take 2 hits of the damage.
You'll like walk through the ring as it's expanding. Well, at least
Specialization, Ellie.
at least on my evoker, I'm not as much of a fidgeter. On paladin, I'm like never not moving. It's like, why would I ever not be moving? I can move.
That will actually wipe people on the Sea Witch boss. I have raged at some paladins, demon hunters, and monks. Because they will literally kill other people on the Sea Witch boss in Throne of the Tides, and it's 100% unnecessary. Like, there is no mechanical benefit to them walking onto their friends and killing them.
Thank you, Kurz. You're amazing. I was
What'd
just
you do?
looking at my water and putting a shitty water on. He gave me 100 mana buns.
Woohoo!
Kaz, can I suggest that if your feedback is move less in that boss, you could phrase it differently than you just did?
Oh, that wasn't feedback to you. That was
I mean, it was a direct response to me saying I wiggle around a lot. And you were like, no,
Oh.
that's fucking gonna
I
murder
didn't-
everyone, you asshole. There's no reason to bloody blood. I'm like,
only on the Sea Witch boss.
I know, but I'm saying like it was.
You're right. That's fair. That was me dealing with a wound, a deep wound that gets reopened
You do
on a
seem to
daily
have-
basis.
You do seem to have a lot of this. I'm just saying.
It's because my friends aren't online as much as I am.
No,
And, like,
as
I've
much
been-
as you are.
Well, I've been trying to just like do other stuff during the day, but like I don't know.
You're also up later than most of us, and like
Because I can't sleep, but then I wake up later than most of you.
Oh, she
Right.
does that for me.
That's a little bit true. Sometimes my sleep schedule is phase shifted because a bunch of my friends are still in California, and like if I want to play Dungeons and Dragons, like I need to be awake after they put their kids to bed.
whose key is it?